discuss the scope and extent of power of Parliament to amend the Constitution. Are there any limitation on the amending power of Parliament? Ans. Amendment of Constitution with a constant change in political, social and financial spheres. Constitution also require amendments to change political society. Framers of the Indian Constitution were keen to avoid excessive rigidity. They were anxious to have a document which could grow with growing nation and adapt itself to the changing need and circumstances of growing people. So the Constitution requires some flexibility. But at the same time, framers of Indian Constitution were also aware that it should not be so flexible that it would be a playing of the whims and caprices of the ruling party. So a balanced theory was kept. Process of amendment of Constitution has not been made too rigid nor too flexible. Article 368 of Constitution of India provides the method of amendment. For the purpose of amendment, various articles of Constitution can be divided into three categories. 1. Amendment by simple majority. Articles that can be amended by Parliament by simple majority as the required for passing of any ordinary law. The amendments contemplated in Articles 5, 169 and 239 can be made by simple majority. These articles are specifically excluded from the purview of the procedure prescribed in Article 386. 2. Amendment by simple majority. Articles of the Constitution which can be amended by special majority as laid down in Article 368. All constitutional amendments, other than those referred to above, come within this category and must be effected by a majority of the total membership of each House of Parliament as well as by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of that House present and voting. 3. By special majority and ratification by states. Article which require, in addition to the special majority mentioned above, ratification by not less than a half of the state legislatures. The following provisions require such ratification by the states. 1. Election of the President. Articles 54 and 55. 2. Extent of the executive powers of the Union and States. Articles 73 and 162. 3. Articles dealing with judiciary, Supreme Court, High Court in the states and Union territories. Articles 124 to 147, 214 to 231, 241. 4. Distribution of legislative powers between the centre and the state. Articles 245 to 255. 5. Any of the lists of the VIT schedule. 6. Representation of states in Parliament, IVTH schedule. 7. Article 368 itself. Procedure for amendment. A bill to amend the Constitution may be introduced in either House of Parliament. It must be passed by each House by a majority of the total membership to that House and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of that House present and voting. When a bill is passed by both Houses, it shall be presented to the President for his assent, who shall give his assent to bill, and thereupon the Constitution shall stand amended. But a bill which seeks to amend the provisions mentioned in Article 368 requires, in addition to the special majority mentioned above, the ratification by the half of the states. The question whether amendment of fundamental rights are covered by the proviso to Article 368 came for consideration in Shankari Prasad v. Union of India, AIR 1951 SC 455. In this case, validity of the First Amendment, which inserted Article 31-A and 31-B, was challenged. The Supreme Court held that power to amend the Constitution, including the fundamental rights, was contained in Article 368 and that the word law in Article 13(2) includes only an ordinary law and not constitutional amendments. Therefore, a constitutional amendment will be valid even if it abridges or takes away any of the fundamental rights. Same line of approach was followed in Sajjan Singh v. State of Rajasthan, AIR 1965 SC 845, in which the validity of 17th Amendment of the Constitution was challenged. Supreme Court approved the majority judgment given in Shankari Prasad case that amendment of the Constitution means amendment of all the provisions of the Constitution. But in Golak Nath v. State of Punjab, AIR 1967 SC 1643, Supreme Court overruled the decisions of Shankari Prasad and Sajjan Singh cases and held that Parliament had no power to amend Part 3 of the Constitution so as to abridge or take away the fundamental rights. The Constitution, 24th Amendment Act, 1971, was passed to remove the difficulties created by the decision of Golak Nath case. This amendment provides that Article 13 does not include the amendment of the Constitution made under Article 368. It added a new subclause in Article 368 which provides that notwithstanding anything in this Constitution, Parliament may, in exercise of constituent power, amend by way of addition, variation, or repeat any provision of the Constitution. The Constitution, 24th Amendment Act, 1971 was passed to remove the difficulties created by Golak Nath's case. The 24th Amendment Act, 1971, provides that Article 13 does not include the amendment of the Constitution made under Article 368. It added a new subclause in Article 368 which provides that notwithstanding anything in this Constitution, Parliament may, in the exercise of constituent power, amend by way of addition, variation, or repeal any provision of the Constitution. The validity of this amendment was again challenged in Keswanand v. State of Kerala, AIR 1973 SC 1461. In this case, the Supreme Court, by majority, overruled the Golak Nath's case and held that Article 368, even before the 24th Amendment, contained the power as well as the procedure of the amendment. As regards the scope of the amending power contained in Article 368, the Court said that the word amendment has been used in various places to mean different things. In Article 368, it means any addition or change in any of the provisions of the Constitution. The fundamental rights cannot be abrogated, but they can be amended reasonably. The Court further said that every part of the Constitution can be amended provided in the result the basic feature of the Constitution remains the same. The Constitution, 42nd Amendment Act, 1976, to remove the difficulties created by the Supreme Court decision in Keshwanand Bharti v. State of Kerala, the Constitution, 42nd Amendment Act, 1976 has added two new clauses, 4 and 5, to Article 368 of the Constitution. Clause 4 provides that no constitutional amendment, including the provision of Part 3, or purporting to have been made under Article 368 whether before or after the commencement of the Constitution, 42nd Amendment Act, 1976 shall be called in any court on any ground. Clause 5 declares that there shall be no limitation whatever on the constituent power of Parliament to amend by way of addition, variation, or repeal the provisions of the Constitution under this article. In Minerva Mills Limited v. Union of India, AIR 1980 SC 1789, The Supreme Court held CL 4 and CL 5 of Constitution 368 as void because through these clauses all limitations on the amending power of Parliament were removed. The court held that Parliament cannot have unlimited power to amend the Constitution. Limited amending power is the basic feature of the Constitution. The court, however, held that the doctrine of basic structure is to be applied only in judging the validity of amendments to the Constitution, and it does not apply for judging the validity of ordinary laws made by legislature.